Have you ever noticed that your pain is worse on days where you're stressed out, worse on days where you haven't eaten well, worse on days where you haven't slept well? So why is that? What does that mean? And what can you do about it? I'm Dr. Malik Parker, physical therapist. I help people dealing with persistent hip pain and lower back pain. And although I am a licensed healthcare provider, I'm not your healthcare provider. So before you make any changes to your treatment plan, always consult with your personal healthcare providers. So what does it mean if your stress, your diet or your nutrition, or your sleep patterns can make your pain feel worse? Does that mean these things are causing your pain? Well, if your pain is being triggered by movements, positions, and activities, then likely no, they're not causing your pain, but they are making your body more sensitive to those physical triggers. So I like to think of them as pain amplifiers if they're working against you, and pain suppressors if you're optimizing them. Let me show you a simple way that you can understand this and start to take action. So your body is constantly interpreting all movements, positions, and activities based on how it feels about an area that's injured or that's just sensitive, regardless of if an injury is present or not. Your body has a buffer for what it perceives as threatening, or its tolerance for stress that it considers negative. And so let's say you start at 100. Each movement, position, or activity that your body doesn't like kind of chips away at this buffer. And if it gets too low, your body will activate a defense mode, which causes muscles to guard. They'll feel tight, they'll feel weak, and it causes pain to be present or pain to be much easier to trigger with the next movement, activity, or position that you do. And sometimes this buffer depletes slowly and you don't even notice until it's too late. And your body can't heal or recover when it's in this state. And what triggers it for you could be different than somebody else, even if they've been given the same diagnosis or have pain in the same area as you. It's based on what your body is sensitive to and what your body needs. So for you, it could be a repetitive movement or something that you're doing repeatedly throughout the day. It could be a prolonged position that's slowly chipping away at it. It could be an activity that if you do too much, your body's interpreting that as too much physical stress on an area, and that can cause your buffer to deplete as well. Or it could really be a combination of these things. So how fast this buffer depletes depends on a number of things. The first being how your body feels about the area that's getting the stress. So if your body has a sensitivity in, let's say, the SI joint, and it feels that that is getting stressed beyond its comfortable levels, then that buffer will start to deplete. But it also depends on what state your body is currently in regarding overall health and wellness. So if you're stressed, or you haven't eaten well, or you haven't slept well, your body is in a less optimal state of wellness, and this buffer or tolerance depletes faster. So if maybe sitting for an hour took you down 25%, on days where you haven't slept well, haven't eaten well, or you're just overall more stressed out, maybe sitting for an hour takes you down 75% and puts you in that defensive body in alert zone. So assuming you're already working on the physical aspect and doing the right exercises for your body that have been tested and that even help to raise this buffer, the next step and simple thing you can do today is to make one change to one area regarding overall health and wellness that helps move you in the right direction. So if you feel like what you eat is having the most effect, then you can simply add more foods that nourish the body. You can add more anti-inflammatory foods like having a cup of berries every day, a cup of cherries. You can add turmeric and ginger, or you can eat a cup of leafy greens before every big meal, which helps to curb the blood sugar spikes that can lead to more systemic inflammation throughout the body, making your body more sensitive to those physical triggers. Or if stress is maybe the factor for you, think of one thing that you could do, even if it's just 15 minutes, that you can do on a daily basis. So you can either add a positive, which is mostly what we've been talking about, adding positive things to address stress, to address the diet. You can also reduce the negative. So you can try to eliminate the stresses. Of course, that's easier said than done. You can also try to eliminate foods that you feel are working against you, foods that are high in sugar, processed foods, fried foods. But simply pick one thing that is going to be the easiest for you to implement on a consistent basis and just start there. And as you begin to move in the right direction in terms of these areas of overall health and wellness, your body's buffer or tolerance to the physical stress will improve, and you'll notice that pain will become harder to trigger. You'll feel less tight. Muscles will feel less weak because that guarded state in your body is harder to activate because you're keeping yourself higher in that buffer. This means you're giving your body more time and opportunity to heal and recover because you're not triggering those pain alarms and triggering that defensive guarding. So that's all for today. Pick one thing, make one change, stick to it. I'd love to know what you decide to pick. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you decided to change this week, and I'll catch you in the next one.